Good afternoon to Ken. Now talk us through some of the activity that we have seen coming through on the market. Like I say, the market ending flat, but to the negative, we did have some big moves coming in from EABL as well as KCB.
Yes, it's been a pretty active week, this market, this whole week in the market. As you mentioned, EABL did a really big trade that pushed market turnover to about 1.3 billion. Earlier this week, we've seen counters such as KCB and Safaricom rally this week, all moving up more than 15%, and then coming back, closing lower actually today. So it's been a pretty active week. KCB, I think, closed at about 27 shillings from a high of about 28.25 yesterday. Safaricom was at 4 shillings and 5 cents. It almost touched 4 shillings and 50 cents earlier this week. So we've seen a lot of speculative trades on these counters, and also as the week closed, what we've seen is profit taking on them. I think that's why mostly the market traded flat. Come next week, we expect, of course, we may see some of these counters which broke their resistance levels and 12-month highs go back above these levels and actually rally even further.
Looking at a company like KPLC sitting at that psychological level of about 17, could we perhaps see that being broken in the coming week?
I think it's possible, considering there's actually supply at levels of 1760. There's a lot of off-the-board demand. What we may see as this price holds at this level, we may see some of these buyers start to pay up for these lots, because what we're seeing small amounts, no big lots in the market. The bigger lots are all being offered at levels of above 17 shillings. So they may begin to pay up next week.
Let's talk on the rights issues that we have seen coming up. We have Standard Chartered's rights issues, a timetable out today. Talk us through what you see coming through there. We know that the stock is pretty liquid.
Yes, Standard Chartered is a pretty liquid stock. They're issuing about 22 million new shares, which has been a drop in the ocean. So we should not expect too much secondary trading on, trading on the securities exchange in the rights. They begin trading on the 9th of October. The rights are coming in at about a 33% discount, which is very attractive. Standard Chartered is currently trading at about 218 shillings. There's massive demand, mostly from fund managers and other big institutional investors. So most of these already hold a bit of Standard Chartered, so they'll be looking actually to pick up their rights and apply for additional ones. So we should expect a huge oversubscription. That this rights issue should actually have no problem. And I think we've actually seen a lot of interest in rights issues. We saw the way DTB actually performed pretty well. NIC we also actually closed today, so we're expecting also an oversubscription on this.
Looking at CFC, Stanbic's rights issue, it started on Monday, but not a lot of activity coming through when you compare it to the likes, like you say, of NIC, which closed today.
Yes, that's true. There hasn't been so much trading activity on it on the securities exchange. Next week will be probably I think the last week of trading, yes, of this share. So we may see more activity coming in as more people as they start to get their allocations, because sometimes what delays is that people get their PAL forms. PAL forms are basically what alerts you to the number of rights that you're allotted. So we may see especially more retail investors begin to sell off next week.
Looking at the fixed income market, it was pretty quiet in this week's trading session. We know that the 15-year bond closes in next week's trading session on Tuesday, to be exact. What kind of rates are you seeing, or yields? What kind of yields are you seeing coming through there?
Currently, we've been seeing the 15-year on the secondary market trading at about levels of 10.5. So traditionally what happens during primary auctions is bidders will come in and bid at between probably 50 to 100 basis points above where it's trading on the secondary market. So going by that, we should expect it to come at anywhere between 11 to about 11.75. We actually don't expect it to cross 11.75. I think there's a lot of liquidity in the market. Central bank will have its pick of funds, so they may try instill some auction discipline during this auction.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ken. Do enjoy your weekend. Well, that's Ken Minjire. He's the fixed income and money markets analyst at Stanbic Investments, joining us from our studios in Nairobi.